This video review is being brought to you by PrimeToys.net. PrimeToys.net, where you get your collector grade toys for not the collector grade prices. PrimeToys.net. And I'm a reviewer, so let the reviews be joined. Hey guys, this is your friend Dynamite here once again with you for another video review. And as you can see, we're going to continue with the Deluxe class line from the Protector bots. We're going to look at Deluxe class, Combiner Wars Deluxe class, Rook. Very cool figure, but before we really get into him, let's look at the comic book once again. As I said in my previous video, I'm doing these in a different order. Rook being the next one on the list because he is actually his comic reprint, as with all the Deluxe class comics. Are reprints of a RID or More Than Meets the Eye book. This one being the reprint of the RID issue number 34. Very cool graphic art on the front here of Rook jumping down, basically. Again, like I said before, it's a reprint, so I'm not going to go into full details on the comic, but it's a pretty good little. Basically, what it's about is you got Alpha Trion talking to Optimus Prime and doing a little history, or telling them a story, basically. But on the back page, we have, of course, the psychiatric report from Rung on Rook, which is very nice. I do like this. And of course, on the inside cover, or excuse me, the back inside cover, we have the on-desk Genesis design phase of the toy, which again, this is really cool. I do like how they did this for it. But that's basically it for the comic book. Let's get that out of the way, and we'll look right at the figure itself. And as with the rest of the combiners, or excuse me, the Deluxes for this wave, though this one is pretty cool because of the simple fact that he is an actual new mold. He has new weaponry, different weapon, different type of combiner port, or not combiner port, excuse me, limb port form, which is all very nice. I mean, I do dig the way this one is with basically the missiles here and all for it. And then he also has this like claw type weapon. It can kind of be a gun, I guess, like a little stun blaster or some kind of energy dispersion weapon or something like that. Because you know, if you play video games, you have seen some weapons that in games that have something like this, and they'll have a little, basically be like a gun. And if you pull a trigger, you know, energy charge up here and fire and stuff. But you can't do that with this. But on Rook himself, what you can do with these is he is basically a SWAT vehicle. Nice looking SWAT vehicle. I mean, it is really cool. I do dig the design and stuff on this. I can actually, again, with this guy being a new mold, I do like it. I do like the fact that they brought in a new design for him, a new character period, but a new look for the wave. This thing is not, to my knowledge, is not being reused, though I think they might be reusing it to a degree with Swindle for the Bruticus wave, which I think I believe is the next wave that's coming out early next year. But it's not too bad, though. I think Swindle's only going to have 4 wheels, where you know Rook has 6 here. I don't think it's a full exact use of this mold. I think it just remodeled it some. It's probably a little different, you know, but you know, there you go. But as for Rook himself and his accessories, you can take this little claw weapon here. You can plug in right here because he does have this peg hole right here in the front, and like, you know, you could use that and say, hey, you know, he's disarming a bomb or something because of the claw gimmick, because it does kind of give you that. If you see like a lot of cop shows or whatnot, you've seen those little bomb disposal bots that they use, and they'll have some kind of claw like this on it. You can plug it in there. He does have a port right here. You can put it there, which doesn't look too bad either. And then he has 2 more back here on the top, which you can also use. And again, that's not too shabby either on that. But his his weapon, his combiner weapon, his hand foot accessory, can be used a couple ways. Again, on this, you can peg it in again into one of those peg holes on top, like so. You can peg it into this one up front, like so, using it as this type of launcher. But the way I like best is this here. Though I do have a problem with this. I don't like how it sticks out on this, but I mean, I could actually see a little third party do something where they put make a little like some flashing lights. Not really flashing lights, but like the little police lights that you can like just peg in right there. I could see somebody doing that for it, but I kind of doubt that will happen. But you can take this. The combiner weapon does have the little peg hole there. You can just stick it right on there. It actually does look pretty good like that. I mean, it does. It is not really hindered because of the basically the thumb back here. But if you want to rotate it and all, it's going to barely touch this. So if you're not careful, if you do it too often, you might rub off onto that, scrape it up or whatever. But it's not too shabby at all. I really dig it. I mean, it does look pretty good like this. Now, we'll set these aside and we'll look at Rook himself, which he does have some nice detail work. I do like the SWAT logo. He's got an Allbot logo here. He's got all this on the side, all this silver paint. Of course, the black tires, the blue around them. Got the yellow for the headlights and whatnot. I do like it's got basically the armored windows here in the front. And you can actually consider this basically like the entrance port, like if it had a tank or whatever, you have a little cover right there for it, which ain't too bad. Now again, as we said, the Rook is the newest member for this team, and he does basically take the place of Groove in this. Basically, he is supposed to be the right leg for Defensor in this new wave, which doesn't look too bad. He does have some problems to me. It does look kind of weird, but we'll look at that here in a moment. I'll transform right now into his leg mode for his combiner mode, or combined form for Defensor. Start off it really easy. Just kind of unpeg, or not unpeg, excuse me, kind of rotate the combiner port here up. You then want to unpeg the front end of the vehicle here and swivel it up, though you might want to right here is where his head is located at in transformation. Raise it up just a little bit just to give you some clearance. You'll swivel this up, and you can see that peg is what will hinder it, so you might want to raise the head up to a degree, at least up to here for now. You'll rotate this up, and I'm not sure how well this is going to come out. I'll probably do it this way better. You can see right here in the inside of the cover here, it does have two little pegs, which you're going to peg in to right here on basically this upper part of the body here, which are basically his arms. So you just rotate that out, and it's not really going to come across, but you can see the pegs right there. And you just peg them in nice and secure. And that's about it. You also can rotate this up, because there is a couple different ways you can do this. Rotate this up and around like so, and then you bring this piece here, the foot, and that is his foot mode. Not too shabby at all, really. I do kind of think he looks kind of weird because he's got a lot of kibble basically up here on this upper part of his leg. You don't necessarily have to have this up here. You can actually keep it down, which I want to move this part of the way. If you do it like so, if you keep this down and you keep this section up like so, you can peg it in like so and have it like this. It'll give you a little bit more height, as you can see, for it, but it does kind of look better if you want to keep them as the foot for the bot mode. With the other leg being streetwise, it might throw it off, so it's probably better to keep it in the regular mode. But this is just an option for you if you want. If you want to go get you another Rook and use him as a leg, you're more than welcome to. But I'm just trying to give you an option here as to what it does. Or options you have for his leg mode. But we'll go ahead and switch him back in, basically right back into his armored vehicle mode, and we're going to, let's put that back down. We're going to switch him into his robot form. Real easy again on this. First step, you want to raise this up again, and you can go ahead. I normally do this just to get them out of the way. Unpeg the arms and start rotating them down, like so, and like so. You then just straighten them out just to get them out of the way. Right here, you can grab the legs, unpegging them apart, and you'll pull them out and straighten them straight out. One thing I have to admit I like about a lot of these Combiner Wars figures, the Deluxes, is these double hinge joints here they use for the knees area. It helps them out real good and gives them good stability for it. As you can see, you straighten it out, and look how good that looks. You can't really see it inside there, granted, once he's in robot form, but still, it gives you a good look and gives you a lot more extension towards the joint itself. But you can kind of see, how it looks like that. You straighten both legs out. You'll raise, of course, these pieces up, which are his feet, like so. You straighten his arms out and down. Rotate them around to the front. Do the same on this side. Right here in the back, you can see basically rotate this piece up, which is, of course, his head. Straighten it out. Rotate it around, and then once again you will just rotate this up and straighten it out into his back. This mode, it does not peg in with the pegs, so you don't have to worry about that. And that's Rook in his robot mode. Very simple transformation, but he pulls it off and looks awesome in his robot form. I really do dig this guy. Of actually this wave for the Deluxes, he is my personal favorite. I know a lot of people probably more likely agree that he is probably the best mold of the lot, best looking one of the lot too. But still, it's really cool. Articulation. Let's look at his articulation for this. His head is on a little bit of a ball joint. You can rotate it around. You can give him that little bit of a swivel up and down, not much at all, but still. Right here in the shoulder, he can rotate all the way around. It does rotate up and about because it is on a ball joint. He does have a swivel right here right above the elbow area, and he does have the swivel in the elbow. No finger articulation because of the fingers aren't really there. There's a fist there, but as you can see at the end, he's got a big hole, basically a blaster, shot cannon, whatever you want to consider it as. The only real problem I have with the arms is this bit right here, this little blue piece that hangs down. I don't see why they couldn't have put a little bit of a hinge right there, just to kind of where you can fold it up, and it actually would. They could even put a little tab here where it could peg in right there, and it actually would cover all this up and make it look better. But that's Hasbro for you, doing it this way. Rotation or swivel here in the waist, as you can see, just like basically for his arm mode. He has that swivel there for it. He has the ball joints in his in the hip to rotate it up and down. He has the swivel right below the hip, as like with the others, which I'm moving the hip with that. You can swivel it all the way around, like so. He does have the knee swivel there, which is very nice. And of course, he does have this bit of swivel here for the transformation, but it does peg in and sits. Foot, he has no real foot appeal, but you can kind of loosen this up if you want to try to get a little bit better repose, like he's walking or something like that, which does look kind of better, kind of cool when you can do it like so. You see a little bit of that. But, I just mostly from the transformation, you can, most people can work with that and doing it in something other. But we'll set that aside. Now, one thing about these peg holes here in the fists, you can work with them, because sadly you can't really put the gun in his hand, but you can do it like so, which doesn't look too bad. I mean, pretty nice. But you can take his combiner weapon, and you can use it as well. You can actually switch it to its hand mode, like so. Folding it open into his hand mode, and you can give him Rook one heck of a fist if you wanted to. You can do that to it. It doesn't look too bad. It does look pretty nice. If you get you another one, stick it on this other port, and it looks pretty good for him. You can, though, also, before I forget this, he does have the peg holes here from the vehicle mode as well. This is the ones that are set basically on the top and the back of the truck mode. You can peg that in there if you want to and have it like so. If you'd rather do it like that, or you can do it, of course, with the arm here or the fist. You could peg that in as well and have it as a launcher there, like so. But it's your own choice on how you'd rather have them. If you're going to have them displayed in this mode or not. It's not too shabby at all. I think it's pretty cool. But we'll move these out of the way, and we're going to transform him once again into his arm mode. To do so, it's real simple, nothing much to it. We're going to start with his upper body. Basically, it's easier to pull this down, straighten it, getting it out, giving you some clearance here. You can rotate his head around, flip his head back. Oh, one last thing on the head, before I get much further, before I forget to mention this. I don't see why they couldn't have put, because when you have him in his vehicle mode, I want to swing it around so you can see, he's basically like this in the vehicle mode. I don't see why they couldn't have put a little white piece, like a little white hinge here, and had it flipped and folded up over his head just to kind of get it out, hide it out of the way. And they could have double hinged it a little bit, just like with Dead End and the others, where when he flips his head down into his robot form, it could have flipped and kind of covered the combiner port up, right here. I mean, they could even made it blue just to kind of match with all this, but that's just something I thought of for this figure that probably could improve it. But, it is what it is. But let's get on this. We'll flip his head back, rotate it around just to kind of hide the face and all. Oh, let's get into his head sculpt, which is really, really cool. I'm going to just try to zoom it in as best I can here by doing it this way. I do dig it. It's got great, like a metal paint for his face. He's got nice, head, upper forehead area, basically, with ears and everything. I do like right here, you can see this little bar runs across there. Basically, almost like a right gear mask or a football mask with the little single bar there. Kind of dig that. Of course, he's got his All-By insignia there on the front of the top of the forehead too, which ain't too bad at all. But let's rotate this around, flip it back, and get him into his arm mode. Next, you'll want to rotate his arms back around. Now, one thing about his arms, as I said before, there is it showed you before, this peg hole here, or not really a peg hole, it's where basically the hinge is. But when you rotate this around to get it into the vehicle mode, you can see it basically lines up with the this little, well, let's get it here where you can see it. I apologize. This little peg here, there's one there, and there's one right here. This peg will, as I said before, will peg right there into that joint, and then this other peg here will peg right here, which actually is really good. That's good for it to hold it into place, which I do dig. We'll rotate it around, and I'll try to see if I can keep it on camera where you can see it. I don't know how well it's going to show, especially with this plastic here, but as you can see, it pegs right in and sits real secure. We'll do the same on this side. Just straighten it out, and there we go. And that's you got that done. Next, you will, of course, peg his legs back together like you would for any other combiner. Let's not forget, we got to rotate this back in fold his head back up into it. And again, you make sure you want to, as with the leg mode, you make sure you peg the pegs into the peg holes there for into the arms. Him being, I'm actually going to use him right now for the left arm, so we'll pull the combiner port out. So we'll turn him this way. You can see mine, there we go. I keep popping, it keeps wanting to slide out there. Ah, come on. There we go. Okay, now I got it. My hands are kind of shaking, that's why I kind of throwing it off some, to cause me to shake this guy, but there. Stay. Okay. Now, also you'll want to swivel this, where the feet basically are towards the back, though you can, if you really want to, just to give them that extra little bit of arm, you can bring these out and like so. That way it gives it just a little bit more extra length in his arm. And then you just bring the combiner port, or excuse me, the combiner arm, and you can combine it in like so. Put it in that peg hole like that. And there it is, basically in his arm mode. Again, you don't have to have these down. I kind of think it looks a little bit better, giving it just a little bit more extension for his arm, but it is more supposed to be like so, with the like that. But that's basically it for his. Whoops, almost forgot his fingers there. Come on, I have to. There we go. Okay. I forgot to pull his fingers out to give him a hand. There. Alright, and there's Rook in his arm mode. Not too bad. He actually, again, I think he looks better in his arm mode than he does his leg mode. Sadly, I probably will still use him in his leg mode because, you know, it does. The arms are basically supposed to be for blades and first aid, so, you know, I'll probably still use him just as his leg for now. Unless, you know, of course, I can get the Takara groove, which will be, of course, take his place and be his right leg for Defensor. But we'll just transform him back to his robot form real quick before we end this review. Separate the legs back out. Pull this out. Unpeg the arms. Swivel them back around. Like so. Bring his head back up, rotate it back around, combiner port back in, and there we go. And he's back in his robot form. Very cool look. I do dig this guy a lot. He is, like I said before, he is one of my favorite for the Combiner Wars Deluxes for the Protectobot Wave. He might even be my favorite overall of all the Deluxes, but still, I do dig them. I mean, I do like this mold a lot. But lastly, guys, thanks. Before I sign off here, let me just again say, if you want to pick yours up, check out primetoys.net. We can get in there and get your collector grade toys for not the collector grade prices. You can pick up Rook. I'll even have a posted link below where you can pick Rook up. And then listen to Transmissions podcast, also a fellow sponsor of the primetoys.net. Where you can use the transmissions code TRANSMISSIONSEPTEMBER during the month of September and get 10% off your order for as much as you want. But again, I ask you guys, please like, comment, and share this video. Even if it does so, please subscribe. I'll also post links to where you can follow me on the web, to my Twitter account, where you can follow me on there. You can follow me on my Instagram. You can also send me an email to my email account, which I will also have down below. But thanks again, guys. It's Don by saying thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.